What's going on, everybody? KingofDragons 5000 here, coming at you with another figure review. Today we'll be having a look at the Medicom Toys Mafex Batman Hush Catwoman. And so here we have Catwoman posing out of the packaging. Before we take a look at the figure, let's actually run through her accessories really fast. Catwoman does come with 3 different head sculpts. We do get a neutral expression with the goggles up. We get a neutral expression with the goggles down. And then we get an angry expression with the goggles down. She also comes with a pair of relaxed hands, a pair of fists, a pair of clawing hands, a pair of splayed open style pose hands, a pair of pointer finger hands, and then a pair of hands for holding her whip. She of course does come with her whip, which does fit in her whip holding hands. And then we do get an alternate abdomen piece where the whip is wrapped around her like a belt. Other than that, we don't get anything else with Catwoman here. So what we're going to do now is take a little break and get a closer look at Catwoman. And so here we have a closer look at the Mafex Catwoman, and absolutely gorgeous piece. I really do like how Mafex captured the look of the Jim Lee art style on Catwoman here. Something I really do like about this figure are the goggles. Now you really can't see it on this version, so if I bring out her alternate head, I absolutely love the fact that her goggles are translucent, and that's a very nice piece. I mean, you can kind of make it out right there, but I really do like the fact that her eyes are visible through the goggles. A lot of times the company would just make that a solid piece and you can't see the goggles. Really do like that. But yeah, really loving her eyes. She has these beautiful green eyes, which I think stand out really nicely. And of course she does have her red lipstick and her little tuft of hair coming out, which is done in black with blue shading, which is what it looked like in the Jim Lee style artwork. But having a look at the figure, I really do like this head sculpt. I especially love the cowl, the way it just wraps over her head, and you can see her ears are sculpted underneath the cowl, which would be accurate. We have the elastic strap holding the goggles there, and then we do have the cat ears right here. Another small little detail that you wouldn't notice right off the bat is that her cowl actually has stitch lines going up and down the cowl, so that's really nice. I do like that level of detail that they put there. It does appear that the straps do have an adjustment piece, but it isn't painted. I would like to see that with silver paint, but it's such a minor detail that you're not really going to see too much. So there's really not much to say about her overall costume. It's what you would expect out of Catwoman. It is basically a black skin tight jumpsuit, but there is some detail to it. You can see right here they did include the zipper, which one thing I'm actually surprised is that that's an actual metal chain loop, so that's surprising. I really wasn't expecting them to add an actual chain loop to simulate a zipper, but it does work really nicely with this figure. And then we do have the zipper going down her costume, which, and I'm going to be honest, it's kind of strange how her belt works, because we do have this abdomen piece which has the belt buckle on it, but then we also do have this abdomen piece where her whip is simulating her belt. And how does her buckle work? I don't know. Science. Albert Einstein invented space, so yeah, it's really strange how this works. I guess we just have to go with comic book logic, but really strange. Something I wish they did was have the zipper go down a little bit lower on her outfit right here. I feel like this seems a little bit too bare right here on her costume. If they had just made that zipper come down to right about right here, it would add a little bit more to her lower torso. At least in my opinion, that's what they should have done. I really do like the wrinkles that they added in it. It does look like the material is stretching in some parts, so that's a really nice little detail. It's really smooth. A lot of things about Catwoman's costume is that they are smooth. I'm glad that they didn't add any texturing to it, because one, that's not accurate to the book, and two, it looks better when it's flat and smooth like this, and it works perfectly. Now, I do like the fact that her gloves are a different sheen than her costume. Her costume right here, you can see, is somewhat of a semi-gloss, where her gloves here are more of a matte, which I really do like that difference right here. Then we do have her legs, which continue that motif of the semi-gloss. Her knees are a bit of a high gloss, just because the different plastics that they use. It's something that every company tends to do. The harder plastics are going to be a little more shiny than the softer plastics. So that's basically why her knees are shinier than the rest of her costume. But I do like the fact that we do have wrinkles on the inside of her legs. That's a really cool little detail. Having a look at the back of her calves, you can see they didn't add any wrinkles back here, which that's what you would expect. Kind of strange that we don't see any wrinkles where the tights go into the boots, but it's not that bad. I do like it. The boots do a really good job of looking like boots. You can see she has a single buckle on each side, and I almost dropped the figure. Really nice silver paint that they applied there, and then she does have the gray heel soles, which don't have any texturing underneath them, so it's not gonna have any sort of grip. It's just smooth surface right there, which is a little bit unfortunate, to be quite honest. Overall, I really do like this figure, and I think I forgot to touch on this. All her hands are kind of sculpted where her fingers have the claws on them, so that's a really cool little detail that every hand that she has the claws. Now, I do have to point out that mine unfortunately did come with 2 left claw hands. Kind of upset about that, but you know what, you kind of have to deal with the hands you're dealt, hands get at puns. And I did contact Big Bad Toy Store about this, and unfortunately they can't get a replacement part for me, so I'm kind of stuck with 2 left hands. If you have a Catwoman with 2 right hands, I'll gladly trade a left hand for a right hand. But other than that, really happy I do have Catwoman here in hand. So what we're going to do now is get her compared to other figures you may have in your collection. Here we have Catwoman posed next to a Marvel Legends Cyclops and a DC Multiverse Superman. Here we have Catwoman posed next to a WWE Elite Scale figure and a Mezco 1/12 Collective Popeye the Sailor Man. Here we have Catwoman posed next to a Lightning Collection White Ranger and a Star Wars Black Series Mandalorian. And finally, here we do have the Mafex Catwoman posed next to the Mafex Hush Batman and Hush Superman. And so with the comparisons out of the way, let's actually move on to her articulation. Catwoman does have a double ball joint here at the head, which does allow her to look up about that far. She can't really look down too far, and that's because her head does have that crook joint that we've seen on Mafex, where if you have it one way, it gives you better range. So if I were to move her head back, you can see she gets a lot of articulation because that angle is going back. You can swivel it forward to give her better forward mobility, but yeah, you can see she doesn't really go too far forward. Does get some really impressive head tilt, so I do like that, and of course it does turn left and right. We of course do get a ball joint at the neck, which does help with articulation going down, but the best way to get her to look down is just to rotate that joint right there and you get the same movement, so there is that. She has that ball joint that we've seen from Mafex, where it's a ball joint connecting into the torso, which does simulate a butterfly joint, which is really nice. But then she also has a ball joint going into a ball socket capped right here, so that does allow the arm to move freely in a circle, can shift down or shift up, goes out to the side, only to about right there, which is a little bit unfortunate, goes all the way around, no problem. We do have a bicep swivel, which works fine, double bend at the elbow. It does appear that mine is a little bit stuck right there. Nope, it's not stuck. It only goes about that far at the top joint. Second joint only goes to about that far. Let's test that. Yeah, she only gets a little bit better than 90 degrees despite having a double jointed elbow, which is a little bit unfortunate. Hands are on ball hinge wrists, so we do have up and down movement. We can rotate that joint to have in and out movement. Of course, it does swivel on that peg. She has a ball joint at the torso. I believe it's a double ball joint. Yeah, it's a double ball joint here at the torso. So she does have some really surprisingly good movement going forward, better movement going back. You can shift that to give her a little more range forward, but she does tilt side to side, as well as slight rotation. Just because of the way her body is sculpted, you don't get too much rotation at the top. Then we do have a single ball joint here at the bottom, and her abdomen is removable just so you can interchange it with that torso piece. But she can rotate right there. Gets better movement going back, as you can see. Not too much going forward, but it is acceptable. It gets side to side tilt really nicely. So really good hula hooping action there. Legs do kick forward to about right there, which is acceptable. Goes back about that far, out to the side, no problem. Then we do have a thigh swivel, which works pretty decently. We have a double bend at the knee, which does go back about that far. We don't have a boot cut swivel, but we do have rotation at the foot. We have a hinge which goes forward and back. Then we can give her a true rocker ankle by pivoting that joint like so. Or you can use a forward facing pin for her rocker ankle. However, because she is wearing those heels, the forward facing pin kind of goes in at an angle, so you really don't get the greatest rocker ankle. And then for some reason we have a toe hinge. Don't know why a heel would have a toe hinge, but yeah, she does have one. But anyway, that's Catwoman's articulation for you, and for the most part it is very impressive. I like what it has right here. Could be a little bit better in some aspects, especially here at the shoulder, but it does what it needs to do. So with that out of the way, guys, let's actually get Catwoman posed for my final thoughts, and then we'll wrap up this review. And so here we have the Mafex Catwoman posed for my final thoughts, and overall, another gorgeous piece from Mafex. Is it me, or Mafex is getting much better with their comic book figures? I absolutely have loved every single comic book figure that I've had a look at, from the Hush series, Dark Knight Returns, and even the Gambit figure was a really nice figure, and Catwoman is no slouch. Even though mine did come with 2 left clawing hands, that's not enough for me to say that this is a very bad figure, because I'd be lying to you if a small quality control defect like that changed my entire outlook on this figure. I know a lot of people are very hesitant when it comes to Mafex. They had a bad reputation when they started out, being somewhat of a cheap knockoff company, but now I honestly feel like you're getting the quality that you're paying for. Yes, there will be some instances of quality control, but that comes with every toy line that you collect. Like, I dare you to find me one toy line that doesn't have any quality control issues, and I'll show you a lying company. Catwoman here is an exceptional piece, and she looks just like she jumped out of the pages of the Batman Hush graphic novel, which I really do recommend you read if you haven't already done so. Catwoman here will look good next to Batman, Superman, Hush. Now, the only thing we are missing from the characters that they have announced is Nightwing and Poison Ivy. I know we're getting Huntress, Joker, and Harley Quinn. I would love to see Poison Ivy, because she is a titular character in that series, and I would love to have the entire Hush collection from Mafex. They've done an amazing job with every figure so far, and it's only getting better with each new release. If you are lucky enough to get Catwoman in your collection, if you got her from import websites, she only cost you about $80, which was a pretty good price. If you're like me and missed out on that pre-order, you did pay an extra $20. I got mine from Big Bad Toy Store, which isn't a bad bargain, but she did sell out really fast. I am lucky I pre-ordered her when I did. Otherwise, I'd be missing Catwoman, and I do think this is a very good Catwoman for a 1/12 scale. So if you are looking for a 6-inch Wonder Woman, or 6-inch Catwoman, excuse me, this is a very good figure to have in your collection. With that being said, guys, I'm KingofDragons 5000. Don't forget to like this video, leave a comment, subscribe to my channel. Go ahead and check out all my other action figure reviews, as well as all my other Mafex and Batman Hush videos. Hopefully you find them informative. As always, if there's a figure you would like to see me review, let me know down in the comments, and if it's in my collection, I'll gladly have a look at it. While you're at it, check out my Instagram account for new and exciting action figure photos, and as always, ring that bell to be notified every time I upload a video. Until next time, guys, I'll see you later. Take care, everyone.